I'm a lifelong Democrat, and I have spent hours out of my life the past few days watching Charlie Kirk debates. And if that pisses you off, then you especially should stay. Because when I tell you I've been absolutely consumed, not by the debates themselves or why I didn't agree with him, but it's our party that has left me feeling unsettled. And if you're a Democrat watching this, I really hope you take this not as an attack, but like from a friend who really cares. First, let's talk about the concept of mob mentality, which by definition just means being influenced by a larger group and losing your own personal judgment in the process. And the example I want to use is that clip that was everywhere, that went viral, everybody was quoting it, where Charlie said, "I don't like the word empathy." We've probably all seen the short and the long version at this point, where he goes on to clarify that he prefers the word sympathy. Agree with him or disagree with him, doesn't matter to me. The point is the real conversation never happened because the clip was cut in half. Why? To reinforce the idea that the right is full of these monsters who reject human feelings, right? That wasn't an accident. That omission was deliberate and strategic so that you would form an opinion about a person without using your own informed personal judgment.
Especially from a party that doesn't promote diverse ideas, because right now if you compare the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, we have way more people that are totally different and we can disagree. You can't really disagree in the Democratic Party. The minority decide where the train is gonna go.
Does that bother you? If somebody's truly evil, shouldn't the truth just be enough? Shouldn't we be trusted to come to the right conclusion all on our own? Maybe you would have come to the same conclusion, but maybe you wouldn't have. And then there's the hypocrisy, okay? If you honestly asked me how many times in the past year I've seen the left dox and unemploy a person over hateful speech, I wouldn't be able to. And I get it. Actions have consequences. I'm not arguing that. But the same principles apply to us. If we sound the fascism alarm, we cannot celebrate death over speech. If we advocate for gun control, we cannot celebrate gun violence. If we call for diversifying our worldview, we can't then close off conversations that are uncomfortable but that could possibly, maybe, lead to some kind of understanding. If we call the right a cult, we cannot cancel influencers who show empathy and sympathy to the wrong family. Think about it. One of the signs of a cult is pressuring members to cut off family members and friends who are outside of the group. Another is using guilt and shame.
And now some left-leaning people are telling me, hey, I found a clip proving to you that the right-leaning people are censoring hate speech.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
Okay, so that is Stephen Miller's wife, my team reminds me. And while her husband fully understands the law, honestly, while her husband fully understands the law and has been behind the most critical policies of the Trump administration that have been very successful, she clearly doesn't, and she doesn't understand the conservative movement, or she would not have asked that question. What kind of a question is that? It was completely teed up in a way that sounds like a lefty. Are you going to crack down on hate speech? What the fuck? That is not a question that a conservative would ask. I don't understand what's happening there. And then for Pam Bondi to not say, whoa, sister, we on the right do not crack down on hate speech. We don't believe in that nonsense.
And all I have to say is, at least we call it out.
Forced conformity. Another, creating a me versus them mentality, demonizing them and creating dependence in us. I really feel like Finnick right now.
Remember who the real enemy is.
If you take nothing else from this video, I really hope it's this. It's not about Charlie Kirk. It's about us taking the time to reflect. Are we living up to our own standards and our own ideals? Are we leading with integrity, or are we just falling into a different version of the same fucking trap? Because from my viewpoint, I don't know, it feels like we're becoming a lot like the things we claim to stand against.
I mean, I don't understand how people can say they are the party of empathy when I've been hearing this message over and over for quite some time.
There will come a day in the not so distant future where MAGA Republicans or former MAGA Republicans will not be able to live in peace in this country anymore. Not exactly sure what that's going to look like, but I know for certain that you're either going to have to leave this country or completely hide any evidence that you ever supported Donald Trump in order to just walk out of your house. Even in the most rural conservative areas of this country, prior to January 2025, you couldn't walk out of your house and fly a schmatzy flag around and be vocally proud about the fact that you're a white supremacist. Half the town might agree with you, but there would be consequences for that. There'll be a day very soon where those consequences are not only going to be reinstated in society, but it's also going to be impossible for you to do anything in peace. If you choose to live out and proud about the fact that you supported Donald Trump during this time, your life's going to be miserable. Unless you sequester yourself to your small, little, rural East Texas town and never leave.
It's like they miss having the lockdown again. They finally had the moral power to tell us what to do. And what bothers me even more is the fact that they said even if you're a former conservative or Republican, we're still gonna find you. Isn't that hate speech? Like, what the heck? You go after my grandpa, grandma, and my grandsons? Like, whoa! Vengadilo, remember to subscribe.
¿Por qué? Scaring us. I mean, and this has been going on for a while. We just ain't said nothing about it, but you are scaring us. Like when it was Pick a Gender Day in kindergarten, we were just looking across the aisle, like what's going on over there. And we thought y'all were gonna get it together in house, but when that didn't happen, we just had to be quiet because you was gonna call us a name if we said something, so we just shut up. And there is a type, like a certain individual in that group that is just insufferable. And not everybody, not all, not because of what you believe. It's just because hard to talk to. Like, oh, you can talk about pancakes. What about waffles? Okay, how about we all just go outside? How about that? Because it seems like you don't do that much. And it's a little scary. And reactions to brutal violence can be diverse, but joy is a strange one. And we saw you do that. And you can pretend like we didn't. We all saw that. And it was very scary to witness. And then when we called you on it, it was like a backpedal. Like, oh, I'm not happy or sad. Okay, well, you might be a little insane. And that's scary. And I don't know. And it's like the left lies, the right lies. When you get more, no disrespect, intelligent, you'll realize that both sides are just lying. But I'm not going to just believe that somebody's a racist just because you said they are. And I'm not going to just believe your headline. I'm going to go and look at it for myself. And when I did, you just don't like what he got to say. And that's fine. That's your right. But he's not the mustache man in Germany because he's disagreeing with you. Okay? My advice is that you cannot let the more minority part of your group drive the bus because they're driving it off of a cliff. And when you keep going further left, the people in the middle are naturally going to go righter because you're sliding the ticker. You need to get that together before the next election because it's not looking good. Bless.
Okay, hi TikTok.
I think she has a great point. You can't let the more minority always drive the bus because they will decide everything, and the moment you call them out for anything, you're out of the bus. You're called Mr. Mustache. That was a very smart point that she made. Yeah. The minority bus. That's what you're driving. And what makes it even worse, you have people in your party that said this on Piers Morgan.
Active on social media since Charlie Kirk's death. When Erica Kirk posted Charlie's coffin, you responded, she tagged him, brackets, crying face emojis. In response to Alina Haber's tweet ordering people to fly their flags a half-mast in memory of Charlie, you posted on X buying flags and poles just to fly them fully erect. And you then posted yesterday ending every conservative debate call out I'd do in 2026 with don't dodge bro. That's not what Charlie would have wanted. Do you think that your response to the cold-blooded murder of Charlie Kirk has been appropriate?
Yes. I think that the only way this country moves forward into a better world is when conservatives can finally realize that they need to turn the temperature down on their side. We are 10 years into whatever this Trump madness is, and there is not a single mainstream conservative that will call for a lowering of the temperature on their side. I think that liberals need to wake up and finally realize that if they're not willing to do it, it will never come down. If you wanted Charlie Kirk to be alive, Donald Trump shouldn't have been president for the second term.
And now people are finding these clips from him in the past.
That's a guy, that's one of the people, like, legitimately, like, it's actually kind of scary, like, how close I was to getting people together to go down to his house and kill him and his family. Or it would have just been him and his father. Because I didn't know anything about it. Dude, that was some of the most fucked up shit in my entire life. I was so fucking close to doing it. But I was making so much money on Twitch, and I'm I don't know if Nathan was involved in yet, but for whatever reason, I decided that the current life I had wasn't worth the risk of... Oh my god. Oh my god, I was so close to this fucking address. I had fucking streets mapped out and fucking you had no fucking idea. That's when I first started getting interest in like owning a weapon. I got a permit to own a gun and everything. Holy
Could you imagine watching Nunez's eyes pop out of his fucking head? Nothing would make me happier. Oh my god, I would fucking jerk off. So I would I would never need to browse porn again if I had a live video feed of Nunez being killed for crimes against his fucking country. Oh my god, it would be the most arousing fucking thing I could ever imagine seeing in my entire life. I'm squeezing my hog to this. That worthless subhuman fucking piece of shit deserves to die.
Conservatives have been disgusting for years, which is why I don't give a fuck about anybody that winds up at any of these rallies and gets shot or whatever the fuck, okay? Because they had no problem making fun of Paul Pelosi. The entire world would be better off if these people were permanently removed from these platforms. Like, there is no downside and only upside to see people like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Tim Pool never be allowed to publicly broadcast their opinions ever again.
I mean, sure, the first 2 videos, they are old videos. But the idea that you have a third video that I believe isn't even more older than 6 months. Why would I take you even seriously when you were joking supposedly about that? If it was a joke. Because by your notion, the jokes they made about Pelosi is a bad and dark joke. I don't condone it. But to justify, you know what? Because people in your party made the joke. You get popped? I don't care. Nah. Don't come tell me now that we have to tone it down. Maybe you need to do that first.
Okay, hi TikTok. So I am a college student and I have really been pondering over the past week politics, my worldview, and just where I stand politically. Yeah. Because after, the events that unfolded over the past week, and the strong visceral reaction to it online, I really sat and thought about it. Really just made me sit and think, am I on a good side of politics? Am I actually aligning with my values and morals?
I think it's okay to change your morals and value when you're following specific ones and it led to somebody being unalived. And the people on your side don't really condone it, but your values condone it.
And I'm just in an echo chamber full of hate, vitriol, vilification, and just disgusting practices. Yep. So I was raised in a very left-leaning space. I grew up in a left-leaning city. I've been in left-leaning educational institutions my entire life. So I always just had that left-leaning moral compass, and it was always affirmed by the fact that as a black queer man.
So you just made 2 opponents that you need to explain yourself. The black people and the gay people. Or you might be kicked out of you might be kicked out of the party.
There's people who are out to get you and people hate you for existing, and you need to stand firm in your left-leaning beliefs, or else your rights are at stake. People are going to try to get you out of the country, take away your rights, even kill you and whatnot, right? So I've grown up with these beliefs for a really long time, and I've just been so firm in them, and I've been in these left-leaning echo chambers because of them, and I've kind of just always been around left-leaning voices as I got older. But now I'm really considering if that's even who I am and if that's what I stand for, and I'm kind of maybe considering leaving the left, because after seeing how many people have just been so nasty and just disgusting in reaction to Charlie Kirk passing away from gun violence, it's so shocking to me, because when I first heard about the news, right, I actually was understanding to a lot of this excitement online. I didn't think much of the death because from what I had heard, Charlie Kirk had been a neo-Nazi who wanted me to be dead. He didn't support my existence and whatnot. And now I'm kind of sitting here thinking, and I'm like, I feel like I had been lied to. I really took some time after the thing happened to kind of look into his videos, look into his beliefs, look into his thoughts, and who he was as a person, kind of reevaluate his character. And to me, he seemed like a well-mannered family man. He believed in the country. He believed in the greater good of the country. He had his own political beliefs and opinions. And sure, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with him on, but I never would stand for him dying or being murdered because of his beliefs.
I just find it very odd that if somebody researched something that they need to scream for without researching, and they feel a little bad, and when they research and they find information that isn't exactly why you were cheering him on to do something, he can't even speak out.
It doesn't make sense to me. I would never support some sort of ideology that pushes for something that nasty. And I want to give a really big shout out to Candace Owens, because regardless of how controversial she is and regardless of her complicated legacy with politics and her possibly being a grifter and whatnot, she posted a really good video humanizing Charlie Kirk in a way that I had never seen before. She displayed Charlie as a friend, as a human, as a genuine, caring guy, and just showed a side of him that I think most people had never seen. And it was so different from, you know, the person who you see on the debate stages and, you know, and the controversial tweets and whatnot. You saw a human being, right? There's a video of them in the car singing along to a controversial singer song, right? Singing
this is R. Kelly, baby.
lyrics, but they were having fun. They were being genuine, like human beings, just vibing. And it just, like, I saw it and I was just like, wait, like, this is like not too much on him.
R. Kelly did bad things, but he made good music. So if I like the music, in your eyes, I'm aligning with that person? Or are you trying to dehumanize me and do character assassination so my evidence isn't worth it? That's what you're trying to do with Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, everybody that is not on your side. So you are the lawyer that doesn't have enough evidence, so you do character assassination.
And it kind of just made me reevaluate everything. And I was like, it left me with a weird gut feeling, and I kind of felt sick, and I was just like, I cannot believe there are so many people who are like celebrating his passing. Like he seems like a normal guy. I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. So then I kind of just like really went down that rabbit hole of like starting to question my beliefs and thoughts. And I think I may be starting to lean a lot farther right in response to everything that's taken place.
It's happening.
But yeah, that's my thoughts. If I'm wrong, prove me wrong, I guess. But I'm really considering leaving the left after everything that's taken place. What do you guys think?
Ladies and gentlemen, please don't harass this person. They already removed the video. As you can see right here, I can find the person. There is no video. The video got a bunch of views. It went viral with almost 1 million views 4 days ago. The celebration of Charlie Kirk's passing has gotten out of hand, and the video got removed. And I think to be part of the gay group and the black groups, somebody convinced him to remove that video.
Don't get me wrong, makosa kita bong. Put the fire na mi blonde, kush hash purple skunk, criollo colombici jam jam, turloqueta verdeta welcome.